Welcome to Yuno and Kenzo Koga.
Where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Subscribe now and awaken with us.
Want to cultivate a more fluid, intuitive, truly original approach to your creative work. If you're a writer staring at that blinking cursor, or maybe an artist facing a blank canvas, a musician searching, honestly, anyone who relies on that creative spark, you know the feeling. We often carry this deeply ingrained belief that creativity has to be an uphill battle, a struggle.
It's almost romanticized, isn't it, that whole idea?
Totally. The tortured artist, wrestling with words, agonizing over a chord. But let's be honest, it often just leads to, well, frustration, writer's block like a brick wall, burnout.
Feeling stuck, just completely stuck in a loop.
Exactly. Repeating old patterns.
And you tell yourself, just try harder, force it more, just will it. You think that's the key.
Right. More effort equals better results.
But here's where it gets really interesting, quite counterintuitive, actually. What if that very force, that struggle, what if it actually leads to less flow?
Less flow?
Yeah. What if the battle itself is stopping you from getting to that effortless original creation you want?
That's the paradox. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Because this deep dive, it isn't just some abstract philosophical, detour. We're exploring how Zen can be a really practical pathway, a way to unlock deeper artistic expression.
Transforming the whole journey.
Right. And connecting with your audience in maybe more profound ways, too. We've looked at some really insightful sources on this, things looking at Zen and creative flow, the process versus the product.
Zen stories, mindfulness, they all bridge that ancient wisdom with our, well, very modern creative challenges.
Oh, yeah, get ready to maybe rethink how you approach creating, how to invite creativity instead of wrestling it down.
Zen philosophy offers such a refreshing alternative, I think. Instead of that forceful, struggle-based approach we often just default to, it encourages a shift, a fundamental one, rooted in mindfulness, in patience, and a really different understanding of what control even means in the creative process.
A different kind of control.
Or maybe a different relationship with control. It's about finding a more harmonious way to work with yourself, with your art.
Okay, so let's start by really picking apart this struggle mindset. It's everywhere, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Pervasive.
This idea that creativity must be hard. A battle.
Yeah.
A heroic fight against resistance. We see it in movies, hear the stories.
Sacrifice everything for the art.
Yeah, and we internalize it. If it's not hard, maybe it's not. Like real creation.
It is absolutely pervasive. And this mindset, while it sounds noble, it often leads creators down a path of just immense, unnecessary friction. The sources we looked at really hammer this home. It's a core misconception that creativity has to be this fight
Against the blank page or the clay or whatever.
Exactly. We're taught from a young age to push, to strive, to overcome obstacles with sheer willpower.
And look, effort and discipline are vital. Nobody's saying they aren't.
Of course not. But it's the kind of effort that matters. When that effort is driven by force or anxiety or being obsessed with the outcome, it often backfires. It's like trying to push a rope.
Trying to push a rope. I like that. So how does this force, this struggle, actually show up in our daily creative work?
Yeah.
It's not always obvious.
No, it isn't. Sometimes it just feels like working hard.
Yeah.
It can be that, relentless pushing through writer's block, just willing inspiration when your mind feels totally blank.
Staring at the screen for hours.
Yeah. Tapping your pen, editing the same sentence over and over, convinced if you just stay there, it has to come.
Been there. Done that.
Or it's that overwhelming need to control every tiny detail before it even takes shape.
Like the artist outlining every single brushstroke, terrified of making a mistake.
Precisely. Or the writer who can't start chapter 1 until they know the exact ending. Every twist, every character arc, all mapped out.
Yeah, that feels safe, but...
It's a gripping, a holding on too tight to a preconceived idea instead of letting the work, emerge.
That is so relatable. I mean, I've definitely done that. Micromanaging every decision, planning everything out, thinking total control equals perfection.
Right.
But then, like you said, and like the sources show,
there's
this paradox. More force, less flow.
It's like quicksand. The harder you struggle,
The deeper you sink, the tighter you grasp.
it more slips away. Exactly. The harder you push, the more resistance you feel. It creates this vicious cycle.
Which leads to...
Well, less creative output, for one, because you're burning all this energy fighting yourself, fighting the process.
Instead of putting it into the creation.
Precisely. And it leads to more frustration, exhaustion, ultimately burnout. Imagine trying to force a river uphill. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
The energy cost is huge. The result is, well, negligible. Or worse.
Oh, yeah.
You deplete your reserves fighting the process, not fueling the creation. It turns joy into a chore.
And I bet a lot of our listeners can connect with this. Have you ever stared at that blank screen for hours trying to force an idea and just ended up feeling more drained, more discouraged?
Less inspired than when you started.
Exactly. Or pushed so hard on something, obsessed over every detail, that you ended up hating it. Or just abandoning it because the spark was gone.
That feeling of being stuck, the burnout, the block, these aren't always signs you lack talent or ideas.
Okay.
Often they're direct results of this forceful approach. Zen suggests maybe these frustrations come from being out of sync with the natural flow of creation.
Out of sync?
Yeah. It encourages you, the listener, to just pause, reflect. When you felt blocked, burnt out, were you trying to will the outcome? Or were you creating the conditions for it to emerge, inviting it?
That's a subtle difference, but powerful.
It really is.
Okay, so if more force means less flow, if the struggle is the problem, what's Zen's alternative? What's its core whisper, as you put it?
It's a radical idea, really, especially today. What if the key isn't more effort, but less?
Less effort. That
Fair
sounds
enough.
lazy or counterintuitive again.
Right, and it's crucial to understand what less means here. It's not about slacking off, less practice, avoiding work, not at all. But what it refers to is less mental friction, less ego-driven control, less anxiety about the outcome.
Ah, okay. Internal less.
Exactly. It's about working smarter with your inner state, your mind, your spirit. Not just harder on the task itself. It's about being present, letting go of that internal battle, letting your creative energy flow without hindrance.
So it's a foundational shift how we approach the work.
Yeah,
Instead of battling, Zen helps unlock the mind through, a few core principles.
that's right.
The first one you mentioned is presence over planning. Embracing imperfect starts. That sounds amazing for anyone paralyzed by the fear of starting.
It is deeply liberating because traditional creative processes often get so bogged down in planning.
Paralysis.
Totally. Or that fear of failure or chasing the perfect concept before you even begin. We get stuck in our heads trying to map everything out.
Expert planners, stalled creators. I like that.
Right. So Zen encourages just starting, even imperfectly, just begin. It bypasses that paralysis. The act of starting, however small, however rough, it breaks the spell. It invites real engagement.
Can you give us some really concrete examples? What does embracing imperfect starts actually look like for different creators?
Sure. For a writer, maybe it's 15 minutes of free writing. Just nonstop. Let whatever comes out spill onto the page. Messy, ungrammatical, whatever.
The goal isn't perfection.
No, just getting something down, breaking the silence. For a visual artist, maybe rough sketching without worrying about anatomy perspective, just exploring lines, shapes, getting the gesture down.
Freely.
Yeah. For a musician, just sitting down and playing, letting your fingers explore, no predefined melody, just discovering sounds as they emerge.
Taking that first messy step without judgment.
Exactly. Which is so different from that pressure to have a brilliant, fully formed idea before you even start. It redefines the start itself. Not a big hurdle, just an active engagement.
And I guess being present in that messy start helps you respond to what's actually happening,
Right.
instead of sticking rigidly to a plan.
Precisely. It fosters organic growth. The work itself starts to tell you where it wants to go.
Like it starts speaking to you.
In a way, yes. When you're truly present and open, that initial sketch might reveal an unexpected angle. That free writing might uncover a character's voice you didn't expect. You discover new directions. A character demands a different path. A melody emerges spontaneously. That kind of organic quality is stifled when you're just focused on the plan.
You become a collaborator with the art.
Yeah, not just its director. You're with it, moment by moment, letting it unfold.
Okay, that leads nicely into the next principle. Patience with the process. Letting ideas marinate. Avoiding forced breakthroughs. This feels tough in our world. Fast-paced, instant results. Patience seems like a luxury, especially with deadlines.
It is very countercultural, isn't it? But creative insights, those aha moments, they often come not from aggressive pursuit, but from a more relaxed, sustained engagement over time.
Sustained engagement.
Yeah. It involves trusting your subconscious, trusting it to work things out in the background. You put in the conscious effort, you engage deeply, And then you create space. You let the deeper mind process, connect things, and insights pop up when you least expect them.
Like planting a seed and letting it grow, not yanking on it.
Exactly. You cultivate the fertile ground.
So what does this marinating look like practically for a creator?
Well, think about incubation in creativity research. You work intensely on something, then you step away.
Go for a walk, take a shower.
Right. Or sleep on it, and bam, the solution appears, seemingly out of nowhere.
But it's not nowhere, it's the subconscious.
Exactly. It kept working. For a painter, marinating might mean leaving a canvas unfinished for days, maybe weeks, letting the colors settle in their mind, returning with fresh eyes.
Seeing new possibilities.
For a writer, putting a draft aside for a bit, rereading it later, letting new connections or fixes emerge naturally.
It's understanding that breakthroughs aren't always forced. They're often allowed.
Allowed to emerge in their own time, often in those quiet moments of non-doing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And cultivating this patience must help with burnout too, right? Transforming deadlines from panic buttons into something else.
Opportunities for sustained, thoughtful work, absolutely. When you're patient, you feel less of that crushing pressure. Brilliance on demand right now.
Yeah, that pressure is exhausting.
So deadlines become markers for progress, not just finish lines to sprint towards frantically. And that sustained, thoughtful engagement. That's what leads to a fulfilling, long-lasting creative practice, not just exhausting sprints and then crashes.
You trust the rhythm.
Yes, you learn to trust your own creative rhythm, recognizing that quiet periods are just as vital as productive bursts. It makes it a marathon, sustainable, and enjoyable.
Okay, next principle. Embracing paradox.
Yeah.
The power of letting go. This one feels like a real mind bender. Letting go of control. When we care so much, our instinct is to grip tighter.
It is maybe the most crucial paradox for creators, and the hardest to grasp, often. Because that desire for absolute control, for crafting every aspect, it often suffocates spontaneity, originality, the very magic we're after.
They're magic.
Yeah. True creative flow often happens when the conscious mind steps back a bit, allows intuition, the material itself, maybe even the audience, to lead.
Like holding water in your hand.
Exactly. Squeeze tight, it slips away. Cup gently, you hold more. That gentle, non-grasping approach. It works for creativity too.
Wow. Okay, where does this letting go actually show up? Give us some examples.
Well, think about improvisation. Music, acting, comedy.
They're not controlling every single note or word.
Right. They're allowing the flow of the moment, the interaction. Their trained intuition guides them.
Yeah.
And the result, often totally original moments you couldn't script.
Spontaneous brilliance.
Yeah. Or a sculptor working with wood or stone. Letting go might mean letting the grain of the wood, the flaws in the stone, letting that suggest the direction.
Instead of forcing a preconceived shape.
Right. The material starts to speak. The artist responds. They collaborate with it, rather than just imposing their will.
And for a writer.
Maybe letting a character surprise you, do something unexpected, or letting a plot twist emerge organically from the story, not just because the outline said so.
So it's letting the work guide you sometimes, not just forcing it into your predetermined box. That really challenges the ego, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We want our creation to be our brilliance, our control.
A reflection of us.
Exactly. The ego wants to dictate, prove itself, control the outcome. It ties identity to the product's perfection. But true originality, authentic expression, often comes from humility, openness, serving the art itself.
The creator serves the art, not the other way around.
Precisely. It's a deep trust. In the process, in your intuition, in the creative act itself, it's not about being less brilliant. It's about getting your conscious ego out of the way so your deepest brilliance can shine.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
And takes practice, I imagine. Okay, let's get really practical now. Practical pathways. How do we translate these big ideas into daily habits?
Yeah.
What does this look like on a, Tuesday morning?
Right. This is where it gets actionable and exciting, I think. One core practice, mindful observation exercises. Seeing the ordinary in extraordinary ways to spark ideas.
So not just looking, but perceiving.
Exactly. With heightened awareness, free from preconceptions, quick judgments, training your attention, making the familiar fresh, inspiring new connections.
Refilling the creative well from the world around you.
Constantly.
Okay, give us a concrete example, something listeners could try literally today.
Super simple. Take 5 minutes, set a timer if it helps, and deeply observe one single mundane object. Your coffee cup, a leaf, your hand.
Don't just glance.
No. Notice textures, precise colors, subtle variations, how the light hits it, shadows, its relationship to the space around it, even its history, maybe.
And how would a writer use that?
Instead of the old house, maybe they describe the way afternoon sun catches peeling paint on a windowsill, the faint scent of damp wood, the specific creak of one floorboard.
Ah, vivid details others miss, creating a unique sense of place.
Exactly. For a visual artist, training the eye to see subtle shifts in color or form, it trains your attention to notice details, connections, providing this rich palette for your work, always available.
It literally rewires your brain to be more receptive.
You could say that, yeah.
And this isn't just for visual arts, right? Writers, musicians, problem solvers.
Anyone. A musician might mindfully listen to ambient sounds. The fridge, hum, traffic, rain. Not as noise, but as layers, rhythms, textures. Inspiration for composition. A designer or anyone solving a problem observes the challenge from every angle without jumping to solutions. Seeing the nuances, the hidden friction points.
Opening up new insights, perspectives, connecting disparate ideas.
Exactly. It trains your mind to find inspiration everywhere. The whole world becomes your muse, a constant, effortless source of raw material.
Love that. Okay, next pathway. The beginner's mind. Shoshan. Approaching tasks with fresh eyes, free from assumptions, overcoming blocks. This is fascinating because we value expertise so much. How does a seasoned pro adopt a beginner's mind? Seems contradictory.
It does feel like a contradiction, and expertise is valuable, it's our foundation. But the paradox is, deep expertise can sometimes lead to rigid thinking.
Relying on past successes, the way we've always done it.
Exactly, which can actually hinder novelty, breakthroughs, real innovation. The beginner's mind, Shoshin, encourages humility, openness, allowing unconventional solutions. It's about letting go of what you think you know.
Temporarily setting knowledge aside to see freshly.
Right, not abandoning it, just seeing with fresh eyes, being open to what is right now, new possibilities.
How does a seasoned pro actually do this? Their identity is often tied to their expertise.
Good question. For a seasoned musician, maybe approach a new instrument, or even their main one, like they've never played it before. Instead of defaulting to mastered scales, just explore sounds, textures, rhythms, no pressure of mastery.
Just pure exploration.
Yeah. Or an experienced programmer facing a familiar problem. Instead of the usual solution, ask why this way. What if we started fresh? No assumptions. Actively seek new angles.
Even if the old way works.
Especially then. For a veteran designer, maybe consciously step away from their signature style. Experiment with new forms, colors, things that feel uncomfortable initially.
Challenging norms and assumptions.
That's where innovation comes from, that openness. It allows you to break free from your own self-imposed limits.
So it fosters innovation, prevents ruts, by encouraging continuous learning, rejecting stagnation, keeping that curiosity alive.
Absolutely. When you keep that beginner's curiosity, that willingness to question, explore, you're always learning, always evolving. You stop falling into predictable patterns because you're always seeking new ways to understand your craft, even revisiting basics with fresh eyes. It keeps your creative spirit agile, prevents staleness.
A commitment to lifelong creative growth. Powerful.
It really is.
And the final practical pathway. Rituals for flow. Simple, intentional daily practices to invite intuition, not just wait for inspiration or chase it desperately.
This is a game changer, I think, for anyone who's waited for the muse.
Yeah, waiting by the phone.
Right. This distinguishes between passive waiting, which is frustrating, and actively creating the conditions for intuition to show up. Rituals don't force creativity, they gently invite it. They're like anchors, signaling to your mind, your body, okay, it's creative time now.
Cues for deeper engagement, building a bridge to your creative self.
Exactly, a bridge from the everyday mind.
So what kind of rituals are we talking about? Give us some diverse examples.
Oh, they can be incredibly varied and deeply personal. What works for one
might not work for another.
Exactly. The key is consistency and meaning for you. It might be a specific time of day, first thing in the morning, late at night.
Setting aside that time.
Or having a clean, dedicated workspace, a sacred creative space. For some, listening to specific music, instrumental, ambient, gets them in the zone.
Yeah.
Others, a simple pre-work meditation, making a specific tea or coffee, lighting a candle.
Small things.
Yeah. For a writer, opening a particular notebook. Musician, playing a specific warm-up. The crucial thing is they're personal, simple enough to stick with. Consistency over complexity.
They become a reliable pathway into that deeper creative space, a signal to your unconscious. Time to play.
Exactly.
So these rituals build a sort of muscle memory for creativity, making the transition into flow smoother, more reliable.
That's precisely it. Over time, your mind and body associate these rituals with that creative state. It gets easier to drop in.
It's building a habit that supports intuition.
Rather than leaving creativity to chance or mood, you're actively cultivating the environment for intuition, making creativity something you foster consistently, not just something that happens to you.
Taking agency without force.
Exactly.
Okay, this brings us to the creative unfoldment, beyond the finish line, redefining success, shifting from purely outcome-driven to process-driven creation. That sounds incredibly liberating.
It is. Its power really can't be overstated, because often, especially today, we focus almost solely on the final product.
Awards, sales, reviews, the finished thing.
Right. And while external validation is nice, affirming, when it's the only measure, it breeds anxiety, perfectionism, fear of failure.
You get so fixated on the perfect outcome, you miss the journey.
Exactly. Zen shifts the focus profoundly to the inherent value, the joy found in the act of creating itself, the journey, the engagement, the unfolding that becomes the primary reward.
How does a creator actually find success just in the process?
Yeah.
Regardless of external results. Give us some examples of that internal measure.
Okay. Think of a painter. Success isn't just the gallery show, it's the feel of the brush, mixing colors, the paint on canvas, watching the image emerge, whether it sells or not.
The sensual experience, the unfolding.
Yeah. For a writer, maybe success is crafting one perfect sentence, discovering a character's true voice, solving a tricky plot point, even if it gets cut later.
The act of crafting itself.
Right. For a musician, the sheer joy of a chord progression, resolving just right, getting lost in the rhythm, being totally present. It's finding satisfaction, meaning, self-worth, in the present moment of creation, in the deep engagement with the craft.
That sounds so freeing. It must liberate creators from constantly needing external validation, pursuing their vision more authentically.
Guided by an inner compass, not just market trends or critics.
Exactly.
When your success measure is internal, the joy, the learning, the engagement, the growth, you're not beholden to others' fleeting opinions.
You can create from authenticity.
Pursue your vision without compromising it to fit demands or trends. It builds resilience.
Yeah.
Your creative well-being is tied to your practice, not just the product.
And finally, this whole approach, integrating all these Zen principles,
Yeah.
it fosters long-term creative well-being, right? Sustains flow. It connects all the dots.
It absolutely does. When you weave together presence, patience, letting go, mindful habits, process-driven success,
Yeah.
you naturally move towards holistic creative health, sustainability.
Because the pressure's off.
Significantly. That relentless pressure to achieve, to be on, it eases. So your creative energy becomes more sustainable, renewable, not finite. You're not constantly draining yourself chasing external goals. You're replenishing yourself through the joy and meaning of the act itself.
Can you paint a picture?
Yeah.
Contrast the creator battling deadlines, burning out, versus one finding joy in the process.
Sure. The first one, often chronic stress. Each project a high-stakes sprint. Pushing through exhaustion, maybe resenting the work, leads to burnout, strained relationship with their craft, maybe lower quality work because the joy is gone.
Sounds familiar, unfortunately.
Yeah. In contrast, the creator embracing these principles, their journey becomes a fulfilling, sustainable marathon. Even with challenges, they find joy in the process. Obstacles are just part of the unfolding, not walls. Their creative well gets continually replenished, not just by resting, but by creating itself. Sustained by mindfulness, patience, intrinsic motivation.
A journey of discovery, authentic expression, lifelong growth.
That's the potential, yes.
Well, we've covered a huge amount today, and I think it's clear Zen isn't about rigid rules or abstract stuff. It's a really practical shift. Mindset, habits, they can profoundly change your creative journey.
We've seen how less force can mean more flow, the power of presence, patience, paradox, unlocking your intuition, and that liberating shift to process-driven success.
Yeah. The benefits seem huge.
Yeah.
Deeper, more authentic expression, connecting with your audience in new ways, because you're coming from a place of maybe genuine connection, peace.
I think so.
So we definitely invite you, the listener, to integrate these ideas. Think of it as an experiment, a gentle exploration. Maybe start small. One mindful observation exercise today. Just truly see something for 5 minutes. Or set a simple ritual before your next creative session.
And as you explore this, maybe consider this thought. What if the truest masterpiece isn't the final product? What if it's the mindful, authentic unfolding of your creative self, moment by moment, throughout your life?
Thanks for watching the Yuno and Kenzo Koga channel. If this video sparked something within you, feel free to like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more insights bridging Eastern wisdom and modern life. Until next time, stay present, stay curious, and stay connected.